and that you typically would expect, a race like this towards the end, if the voters picked one or another, all these primaries would go one way. I mean, you saw that with Kerry and Edwards pretty quickly. They had a couple of competitive races, and then they all went Kerry, and that was it. That is not what you're seeing here, right down to the end. In fact, Hillary's coalition has continued to strengthen as you go down.
But it's not the coalition that you thought she was going to start out with, though, is it?
Well, actually, the seniors, all of these things are exactly the kind of coalition.
You thought she'd go this
working
populist?
Class, absolutely, because this was absolutely core. Her the attraction of her to people that really need a champion and really believe in her as a champion. We saw that in upstate New York as a very important part of who she is and the kinds of voters that really support her.
You know your party very well because you've probably polled your party every which way. Do you see that however this is resolved, let's go with the conventional wisdom right now, which you probably don't agree with, that Barack Obama will have the nomination. Do you see rapid healing, or it could be, or if it's Hillary, do you see rapid healing within the party after it's decided?
I really do think whoever is the nominee, the party will come together around the nominee. There will be a big surge and a big boost for whomever the nominee is. I think you'll see, whoever doesn't wind up to be the nominee really be supportive. I think Hillary's said that time and time again. I think like Barack has said that. I really think that part of what is incredibly good about democracy is that democracy allows you to disagree within the confines of casting votes. I mean, that's the whole point of it, and then you can come together.
If she has to get out, have you talked to her about how you would recommend she gets out?
And how you can try all you want. Part of the reason that I maintain an advisor, is that I don't give out my advice, ever.
Okay,
really.
well let's go to one other thing that's out there then, that the Clintons owe you so much money that they owe you $5 million or something like that.
They don't owe me. I don't even owe the companies anymore.
But something I read that you said, and I thought this was interesting, that these numbers are put out that you're owed this money, and you've said they always pay you, and you believe that they'll pay you on this. But it's not like $5 million goes to Mark Penn. You have a diverse number of contractors that work for you that the money goes
correct.
to. It's not Mark Penn gets a check for.
Most of everything that we've been doing has been the direct mail, and that's all a series of vendors, and frankly the largest one is the U.S. Post Office. And so all of this gets lumped together. All this gets lumped together because we're providing the services of direct mail, and even polling itself involves hundreds of people who who are involved in terms of doing the polling. So there's that. That's exactly right. And I think what I said was, look, I've been working with them really 13 years now, and they've always paid their bills, and I'm sure they will.
Is there interest on money owed to pollsters?
I cannot go
It's not a flat-out denial, but well, what do you think? What do you think we're going to see in these next few weeks? I mean, when do you think it'll end? What do you think will happen May 31st? What do you think will happen by June?
Look,
5th?
I think that it's very interesting because you're asking me these questions, and I sat down recently with somebody and said, well, are people more interested in politics? And I said, no, everybody's got political analysis, but very few people analyze the trends.
Because they're inundated with political analysis.
They're inundated. So the question, like this question, everybody now could read the Post to know that, hey, well, they're going to meet on the 31st, Florida and Michigan. Look, I think millions of people voted in Florida and Michigan. I don't see how those votes, don't get recognized by a party that tries to
believe it will get resolved in some fashion. It's just going to have to please both camps, but it still may not help her to achieve.
Well, I think the important people to satisfy, frankly, are not the contestants they are the people who voted, who want their votes to count.
Do you think the press coverage or the media coverage has been fair?
Again, I think with all things, some coverage is fair, some coverage.
But she called it sexist. Have you seen that?
Well, that's not exactly what she said. So but I think that you've seen. Look, I think you've seen in this race, it's a path-breaking race on both sides, and I think that the paths that have been broken, I think they are taking America to a better place overall.
When is your job done?
You know, so we'll see. The job of the job continues, and right now, I think it's important, and I think it's very interesting. The voters are in a place that you look at every public poll out there, and they all say, you know, let this thing continue.
Yeah, I don't
Nobody
think
should drop
anybody
out,
does, yeah.
and I think this.
But
thing
will
moves
you
on.
will you do polling for whoever the nominee is?
Yeah, that's up to whoever the nominee is.
But
Not me.
you're open to it.
You know, again, it's up to them, not me.
Well, okay, but you're not saying you won't, and you think that because there have been rumors of various Clinton people already talking to Obama people, but you're not one of them.
I'm not one of them.
You're not one of them. Well, you've been very generous. We're going to slip around and sign and sell some books. I thank all of you for coming, and hopefully we will see you on June 5th. Thank you. Thank you.